like it is. Was the plan staying it really dark, whatever dark color she likes?
This is completely my style, huh, babe? This is exactly.
Yeah, this is, if you could do it, you would do it this way.
Yeah.
But I would. Explain to me about the cracks. Yeah, how does that work?
How do you keep the moisture out of here?
It's got, I put a bead of caulking on top of every one, but like, you know, it's humid up here in the wintertime, but not the kind of humidity. I mean, I guess I don't know. There's part of me that just says, let's ride it out and see what happens. But then there's part of me that goes, if you're going to do it now.
But this is going to get covered. It's never going to see direct moisture.
No, and the sun never hits the side. You know, we're going to have concrete poured this whole way.
And truthfully, if you're going to stain it, then you could chink the cracks before you stained it.
I'm going to stain it, and then I'm going to put the sickened stuff that's like a really good clear coat over it too.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's going to be almost like, I called the guy I bought it from, and I'm like, am I a jackass for doing it this way? And he goes, we have a lot of people that just nail it up against their Tyvek and don't do anything else. He goes, you can run it through a router. He said, it takes a lot of time. It's a lot of work to make it shiplap. He said, but he goes, it's kiln dried, and it's the right time of year to be throwing it up.
Yeah.
So, and eventually you said you might even throw some rock up against here, right?
We talked about it.
Yeah. With that header?
Yeah, this isn't right. The window is too thick of a header.
I like the character that it adds.
Or the other option is I could do
match that trim.
What if I did that on the ends? Right here.
I'm kind of with Cedar. I like the angle, but I like the thickness of that one. Could you do that?
Good. So go
I think
go
the
wider.
thickness on the door too. I think it'll make the door look taller.
It's a 6'8" door. It's just because we got
You got
12 inches
all
of
the
snow.
I really like it. I just wish the header was longer and that the style matched what's over the door, because I like
This
that.
one?
Yeah.
So would you do it at the bottom too? The angle at the bottom, or leave it flat at the bottom?
On this one? No, I just figured I'd leave it. I just did this real fast last night trying to decide if I liked it. I didn't like it, so stop.
I like everything, but I think that if the top was angled like this, I think I'd love it.
I understand that this is siding, and by all rights, siding should be like shingles and it should be overlapped, and that's fine and dandy. That's one person's opinion, but you've got a lot going on here that people aren't seeing, and that is, this is all going to be covered. You want to do something here in the porch, maybe do rock across the front.
So we've talked at some point down the road, take the lower 3 strips off and just do river rock.
Yeah.
Do a river rock, or maybe even lower 4 strips.
So as this sits here right now, yes, it's may get some moisture back in there, but I don't care what siding product you're putting up. The Tyvek is what's protecting you. You're going to get, even if it's just ambient moisture behind the wood, you're going to get stuff back there. And the wood's going to expand and contract and open, and whatever. But on top of all of that, you're going to be covered, and you're going to cover the bottom. And if that's still not enough protection, you could add board and batten along here underneath the porch, but above the rock or whatever. So
you don't think I should
you
tear it off and just do board and batten?
No, I think it's cool. The other thing is, your 2-story house. If you run everything from the floor to the top with board and batten, this thing's going to look like it's 100 foot tall. So I think changing up the lines is going to give it a really cool architectural detail. And
stain dark. We're going to try to stain it darker.
And if you're going to stain it, you could always come along and chink this or put something in it.
Does that make it worse as far as moisture? If I went ahead, like I wanted to get a colored caulking that matched the stain to fill in some of these bigger gaps.
What's the concern? You're locking moisture back there?
Yeah, I guess. I don't know.
You're never going to seal it tight enough to
prevent
seal
that,
it,
right?
Yeah. But if you fill in the big knot holes and then you stain this and maybe pull out some of the loose knots,
like it doesn't get that wet up here. That's what I'm trying to say. People, I don't know what. I definitely want to do this right. I most certainly don't want to create something that's going to have mold issues.
Yeah.
But at the same time, this side of the house, we don't get rain. The rain that we get up here is minimal, and then it's not like it's coming in sideways.
Well, so I've seen a lot of times where the rain and snow melt falls off the roof and it hits here and then it splashes up against the wall, and then that creates real water issues.
Sure.
But you've got this great big porch. All of your snow coming off the roof and all the snow on this porch is all going to be falling 12 foot out there.
Yeah. So what about flashing? The other thing I wanted to do is put just an L flashing,
Yeah.
like a big 3-inch L flashing, and then set the board and batten against that, and use that L flashing and set the roof under it.
Yeah.
So even if
So what we do is you've sheeted this porch, and then we'll take the thickness of your tin or your metal, because it's got a rib in it. It might be an inch or whatever. So we'll rip a board to an inch, set that up against the wall, and then set the flashing on top of that.
Okay.
Then you pull that board back out.
so it's not right on top of the
Right.
roof.
Then you're tucking your metal on your roof
Underneath
up underneath that,
That's a good idea.
that flashing.
That's a really good idea.
So
So don't tear it out.
don't tear it down. Don't tear it down. And if somebody says they don't like it,
I don't really care. Like, there's an aesthetic look I'm going for sure. I don't really care what people like or don't like. But
well,
I do
and I
want it
see
to-
this, I mean, everybody's looking at this and they're like, oh, this is outside and it's going to be under the weather. But it's not, because this is more of an interior trim at this point than an exterior trim.
Sure.
And once this is covered and you're out here and you've got a porch and patio, this is going to be fantastic.
Do you are you familiar with that Sickens seat tall stuff that everybody talks about with logs?
Is that the
It's a
the
stain.
waxy?
I think it's got a little bit of a sheen to it.
Yeah.
That's what I want to do. I don't want it to be
And you
very
want it
shiny.
dark.
Yeah, I don't want it to be shiny like a.
So it'll be like a
satin.
matte finish.
But it's going to have enough of a clear coat on it where it should be really protected. So the only thing I see going bad in this is if I somehow let water get from up there,
Yes.
from up high, then sure, I'm going to have issues. But if I can,
And you may want to sheet that, and then at that transition, rolling a roll of ice and water shield,
Yeah,
and
good idea.
then do your flashing.
that's a good idea.
And so there's just absolutely no
That's
way.
a really good idea. I'm glad you said that. So I deliberately put that piece up there because I like that piece, and I'll have to put a big old. I'll have to fill that with something, but
But it's got so much character to it.
yeah, there's a lot of this wood is just kind of like that. So.
Well, as a guy that puts stuff up all the time, I know that if you don't like it down the road, you can always take out a section and put a section in. It's not that big a deal.
Especially once we're living up here, if I wanted to do the lower 3 or 4 feet in that rock, that would be easy to do. I really want to do a lot of rock stuff. Let's talk about the end over here.
So I like
You like that?
I
Having a
like
little
this,
shelf?
but you rip the back edge in an angle so it sits like this. Now you're underneath the porch, it's not a big deal. If you wanted to go square, you could. But if you just rip that angle on the table saw, and it could stick out, whatever, and then
Then you put another trim
tuck
piece underneath. it.
another piece underneath it.
It's good.
But there's
It's
lots
cute
of
unless you do the planter boxes. What we
I could
talked
still
about.
hang a planter box underneath it. The problem with this side with the planter box is they're never going to get any sunlight. Okay.
And I like the character that it gives
that?
it. It makes
Yeah.
it not
It kind of
so
gives
flat.
it some depth.
more
it does
more
it.
detail.
Yeah.
But if, like you said, if you're going to hang a planter box, then I think you just leave it, and that way you can mount the planter box right to it, and it's flush.
And
You're
I,
right though. It's never gonna.
I know my
sit flat.
opinion doesn't matter, but I like that it's kind of all flat like that.
Really? Well, especially if you're going to hang those metal flower baskets or whatever you want to do.
So on this end, this does have the potential for more moisture because there is no porch.
Right.
So do you think I should take the time to router and do real shiplap and don't use any caulking on this end?
Okay, does it have to be shiplap? Could we just run a 45-degree angle so that this one's at this angle and this one
So
overlaps
do a lap siding.
a lap siding?
Well,
but it's still going to finish out flat. It'll just have that 45-degree angle.
My only concern is with the wood and the cracks that are in the wood, is it going to hold up that way when I start nailing it off, or is it going to crack more? I could pick through the wood and probably find enough to do, but then if I have lap on this side and this is flat,
So my thing is we've done the routed edge where the two come together like this, and I just don't like anything flat when it comes to moisture. It's got to have an angle. It's got to be able to shed water. So I think you get the same look, but if you're putting a 45-degree angle on it and you're still caulking it,
You think I should still caulk every seam?
Yeah, I think that's just a great idea. Just to keep as much moisture or whatever. It's an inexpensive way to hedge your bet against moisture back there.
But give it a lap so it can, any moisture that got
Yeah.
back there could dry out.
And the other part is those boards expand and contract with that 45-degree angle. It might open, but you're never going to see the white Tyvek. You're going to see just where that 45-degree angle is overlapping.
But you don't think I should change this?
No, because it's covered in.
Do you want it to all match though? Is it gonna look weird? If
That's
two
the thing.
different
It'll finish out the same. This finish will be the same. The only difference is there'll be a 45-degree angle cut there. And a 45.
Oh, you're saying lay it
Oh.
flat, but just put a.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Oh, so you're saying don't even do the shiplap router. Just put an angle on it.
Yeah.
So the water drips off it.
So they're like two 45-degree angles coming together.
Oh, I
It's
see.
still flat here. Sorry,
Oh, wow.
I didn't.
Okay, I didn't even think about that.
Because it'll give you the same thing as the routed edge. It'll give you the overlap, but you
I didn't
you
even
can
think about
run it through the
that.
table saw
Yeah.
with your blade on an angle.
Oh, that's a heck of an idea.
So
I didn't even think about that.
that way, as this expands and contracts, it's just that overlap.
I could put a good 45 on that, and
Yeah.
you'd never see Tyvek.
No, it
Huh.
would help to hide it better.
That's an interesting. I didn't even think about
But
that.
and I like that, especially where you've got this big open area.
So on this end, it's going to have the longest board and batten,
Yes.
and so that's why doing board and batten from floor to ceiling would just be too much, I think.
Break it up.
Okay.
That's. I mean, try it. Try a couple and see what you think.
I
And
think I
only-
can do that.
Only do that on the ends.
No, it'll be.
So on the ends, so I'll tell you what. I'll probably what he just said. I'll
Here.
probably do the whole rest of the house that way.
Okay.
So all I'm thinking is, if these are your two boards and you're putting them together
Oh.
like that,
That's a heck of an idea.
come over and look at this. Because you'll still end up flush and flat. Imagine that this is like that, but that 45 is right there, and then this one comes on here.
So there's no place for water to sit.
No water can sit there. It's all going to run off. And if you still caulk that and put that together, you still end up with the flush and
The
the
same-
line that you
same look.
want.
Same look.
It'll just look
You get a
I
closer
think that's a
line
great
then.
idea. I probably should have.
that
I'll probably do it on the
45.
whole rest of the house.
And it's a lot quicker to run these through a table saw than to run them through a router that's going to blow stuff out. Because you hit a knot
Yeah,
on
the
router.
routers. It was hard on that wood.
Yeah.
It was real hard on that wood. I mean, I could probably set up a jig and use my skill saw on it.
Yeah, yep. You just run it through. So that would get.
That's a great idea. The other
It's
thing
gonna
that
make the lines
does,
tighter.
the other thing that does is that gets rid of some of the wasted wood. Some of this wood has imperfections on the edges.
Yeah.
So that's a really good idea.
So, but then as things happen and the wood expands and contracts,
You don't see it.
it may slide a little bit, but you're never going to see through to the Tyveks.
That's a great idea. So how thick of a trim piece on the ends, ladies?
Yeah, for this here,
I like that.
Big, thick.
big.
Big.
I like
5.5
the
inch.
thick too.
You got.
She likes them thick. Is that what she's saying, John?
That's what I heard. And then the question is do you
Do you
overlap
miter it or
or do you 45?
45 would look nice.
You like the
45 would look nice if it doesn't move around too much. That's the only issue.
you like the 45 or would you rather have the?
Have a seam. You understand what he's saying?
And that could go this way, so you don't really see the seam from here, but you do see the seam from this side.
I kind of like the seam.
There's a lot of decisions on siding. Do you like the seam?
I kind of do like it like that.
It'd go up a lot quicker.
Yeah, for sure. And then as the wood moves around, it's not going to be a big gap on the corner, like,
Right.
and then break off. I've seen those 45s.
Yeah, they chip. Kids hit them. They bump stuff into them. Whatever.
She's gonna bury me. This is our cedar tree.
Cedar tree.
She's gonna bury me there
No,
for
he says I'm gonna cremate him.
cremate me and put me in a
I
shotgun.
said
and
I'm
then
not cremating.
shoot you out of the shotgun
And
into
then-
the tree.
She's gonna keep me buried here for at least 6 months until she brings home her new boyfriend.